2022 Hyundai Tucson First Drive Review. Style, Space, and Serenity. This sharply styled SUV poses a serious threat to the Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V. The all-new 2022 Hyundai Tucson makes finding its central theme impossible. With its polarizing exterior styling, relaxing cabin, and unexpected driving character, this compact SUV embodies contrasts that somehow blend into a pleasantly cohesive whole. And the takeaway from that whole? If you work for Honda or Toyota, you might want to pay serious attention to the new Tucson. It's less shocking in person. We'll begin with the obvious, the 2022 Tucson's exterior styling. With aerodynamic concerns turning most SUVs into look-alike blobs, designers at most automakers use sheet metal surfacing to manipulate reflections into forming the vehicle's lines. Hyundai has done the opposite with its compact SUV, using sharply creased panels to break its look into disharmonious planes. The styling is a bit jarring in studio-lit photos, but it's much subtler in person, and we like it as a creative way to make the Tucson stand out from other SUVs. The new grille is a sign of the times. Did Hyundai have mask mandates in mind when approving the design? And we love the way the integrated daytime running lights and turn signals go black when the Tucson is shut off. This seems to be a sign Hyundai is moving away from the recently introduced front-end look we were just getting used to on the Venue, Kona, Santa Fe, and Palisade. Finally, we cannot figure out why Hyundai felt the need to rip off the Ford Mustang Mach-E's taillights. The new Tucson's contrasting cabin. If you're expecting the exterior styling to bleed into the cabin, you're in for a surprise. The Tucson's interior has a completely different aesthetic, and it's stellar. The dashboard forms a wide arc around the driver and front passenger, with the instruments and center stack floating on standalone panels. The arc carries into the back seat, interrupted, rather rudely, we might add, by the B-pillar. It's a lovely design that doesn't compromise ergonomics. The displays are crisp and bright enough, Hyundai points out. There's no need to shade the instrument panel for daylight visibility. The movement of the computerized needles is Disney smooth, and the gauges change with a rather nifty animation when a different drive mode is selected. On the center stack, the 2022 Hyundai Tucson employs touch-sensitive panels in place of traditional hard buttons, and the virtual buttons are spaced out and marked well enough to be easy to find and press while on the move. Our biggest complaint is the lack of a proper volume knob for the stereo. No doubt Hyundai didn't want to interrupt the waterfall flow of the center screen, but we would have preferred a more creative solution, like this one, which Hyundai should have ripped off from the Mustang Mach-E. There's a reason the humble volume knob has endured throughout the 100-year history of broadcast radio, and its omission is one of the Tucson's few glaring faults. Honda learned this lesson the hard way last decade. Let's hope it doesn't take Hyundai as long to solve this problem. Go ahead, spread out inside. Speaking of Honda, nearly everything about the Tucson aft of the front seats reminds us of the Honda CR-V, and we mean that as the highest compliment possible. Lack of rear seat legroom was one of the complaints consumers had about the outgoing Tucson, so Hyundai developed short and long wheelbase versions, the latter is the only version for the US. The result is a 3.1-inch stretch in legroom over the outgoing Tucson and 0.9-inch more than the benchmark CR-V. It's a great back seat, with supportive cushions set nice and high to give a great view out the front windshield, something those prone to carsickness will appreciate. One of the things we admire most about the CR-V is the concert hall-sized luggage bay, and the Tucson offers a similar yawning chasm for cargo, trailing the Honda by a mere half a cubic foot, at 38.7 or 38.8 cubes depending on the model. The hands-free tailgate can be opened merely by standing behind the Tucson with the key fob on your person. No awkward kicking under the bumper. Hyundai has even adopted cargo bay seat back releases, too, as seen in the Honda, which allows you to drop the rear seat backs while standing at the back bumper. Very nice. Small engine acting big. Let's talk about how the 2022 Hyundai Tucson drives. The Tucson will launch with conventional and hybrid powertrains, with a plug-in hybrid coming in a few months. We spent most of our time with the hybrid, which sandwiches an electric motor between a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and a 6-speed automatic transmission. The engine itself delivers 180 horsepower and 195 pound-feet, and combined output with the electric motor is 226 horsepower and 265 pound-feet of torque. All Tucson hybrids come standard with Hyundai's H-Track all-wheel drive system.